Hello, I'm Thomas Porteous and you're watching another episode of Deep Dive on NewsX World. Today we will take a closer look at the protests crippling Mexico today and the assassination of a mayor that sparked these protests. The visuals on your screen show the Mexican festival of Dia de los Muertos, or the Day of the Dead. It is a festival where people honor their ancestors by putting out pictures and items of remembrance in ornate ofrendas, often with the favorite foods and beverages of the deceased. The distinctive festival is one of the better-known spectacles of Mexican culture around the world. However, this year's celebrations took a dark turn in the province of Michoacán. This is Carlos Alberto Manzo Rodriguez, a former member of the Mexican Chamber of Duties, who last served as the mayor of Uruapan, Michoacán, who was known for his hardline stance against organized crime and his strong criticism of President Claudia Sheinbaum's administration and policies. On the 2nd of November, during this year's celebration of the Dia de los Muertos, Manzo was shot dead in Uruapan's main plaza, the Plaza Morelos. He was attending a celebration called the Festival de las Velas, or the Festival of Candles, with his wife, Gracia Quirtos, and their 2 children. The gunman, later identified one as Manuel Ubaldo Vidales, was only 17 years old and was gunned down by Manzo's bodyguards immediately after the shooting. Vidales fired 7 bullets using a 9mm Beretta handgun from close range, hitting Manzo 3 times in the back and the lower abdomen. Manzo succumbed to his injuries on the scene and was declared dead shortly afterwards. 2 more alleged suspects were arrested at the scene, while 2 others were subsequently found dead in the weeks following the assassination. The probe has also revealed that the shooter was high on methamphetamines and that his family had been reported him missing 2 days before the shooting, revealing the cartel's modus operandi of preying on young people to carrying out their sinister ends. The nature of the assassination shows strong signs of cartel involvement. Authorities in Mexico have credibly linked the killing to the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, one of the most powerful and violent cartels in the country. Police have also said that the attack is believed to be a direct response to Manzo's recent successes against the cartel. In August, local police under Manzo's command arrested a key CGNG regional leader, Rene Belmonte, otherwise known as Reno. Reno reportedly ran the cartel's extensive extortion operations in Michoacán, which is known as the avocado capital of the world, targeting local farmers. Authorities are calling the assassination of Manzo retaliation for the arrest of Reno. The assassination of the mayor of Uruapan sparked massive protests across Mexico, led by the younger Generation Z. Students have been taking to the streets across the country, chanting slogans against the Sheinbaum government, with protests quickly reaching boiling point. Violent clashes have also been reported from Mexico City, where some 120 people, mostly police officers, were injured. Demonstrators clashed with the police outside the National Palace, and federal troops were deployed to maintain law and order across the country. Protesters say they want justice and zero impunity in this government, and that they are tired of investigating being launched with no outcome over and over again.
La impunidad que está en ese... Lo único que queremos es justicia y cero impunidad en este gobierno. Estamos cansados de que siempre salgan carpetas de investigación y el gobierno no actúe. Que el poder esté en todos los poderes y sea el mismo.
Carlos Manzo, que más que un presidente municipal o alcalde, pues era quien tenía la voz que todos nosotros esperábamos, no solo los estudiantes, sino todo el pueblo. Yo vengo del campo también, entonces pues siento esa doble conciencia, ¿no? Y pues era parte de nosotros, era pues el presidente que todo México necesitaba.
The political fallout from the assassination looks to be equally intense, with President Claudia Sheinbaum announcing the Michoacán Plan for Peace and Justice amid the intense protests gripping the country. More than 10,500 members of Mexico's Army, Air Force and National Guard were part of the operation called the Michoacán Plan for Peace and Justice to crack down on criminal groups, combat extortion and dismantle drug labs and training camps. The operation is expected to cost up to 57 billion Mexican pesos. Let's listen in to the president's announcement.
Nunca traicionaremos la confianza que nos ha dado el pueblo de México. Nuestro esfuerzo, conocimiento, entrega cotidiana es por el pueblo y para el pueblo. Ese es nuestro mandato. A todas y todos los michoacanos les decimos no están solos. Su presidenta y todo el gobierno de México los respalda. Personalmente, daré seguimiento cada 15 días al Plan Michoacán y daremos cuentas públicas de los avances del plan cada mes en la Mañanera del Pueblo.
Meanwhile, Manzo's wife, Gracia Quirtos, has been sworn in as the mayor of Urupan and has vowed to continue her late husband's fight against organized crime and cartel violence in Mexico. Addressing the Michoacán's Congress after taking the oath of office, she urged the citizens of the province to not lose heart and continue the fight that took her husband's life, but didn't silence him.
Otra vez, él temía por su vida, él temía por la vida de sus hijos, por mi vida, y jamás le hicieron caso. Qué triste. Pero hoy con esta entereza que sé que él me envía desde donde está, con esta grandeza que solamente él tenía para salir adelante, voy a seguir su legado y lo voy a hacer con una manera, porque fue tu sueño y ese sueño nadie lo va a pagar, nadie lo va a pagar. Se los juro, se los prometo, que México, que Michoacán y que Europa tienen que cambiar. Muchas gracias.
Meanwhile, protests across Mexico continue against President Sheinbaum and her government. Following the assassination, reports say that these protests were organized by a group known as Generation Z Mexico, who have released a manifesto on social media stating that the group is non-partisan and represents the youth of Mexico who are fed up with violence, corruption and abuse of power. President Sheinbaum has cast aspirations about the number of young people actually participating in these marches, saying that there were very few young people and that the protests were organized by her right-leading political opponents. To discuss all of this and the situation on the ground, we're now being joined by Emilio Reynoso. He is a journalist with the Deutsche Welle and is joining us live from Mexico City. Thank you very much for joining us here on NewsX World. It's a pleasure to have you on the program. Let's get straight into this. What can you tell us about the first impressions of the situation on Mexico City? What is it like on ground there after these protests?
Thank you, Tomas. Thank you, everyone. Well, the first impressions are the march was coped with violence, that everyone wants to be or have a peaceful demonstration, but everything turned up down. So, as you said, the march was initially called to demand great security, better opportunities for young people, and concrete actions against violence. It all started with Carlos Manzo's killing, but we have to say that ironically he was killed by a teenager, and we must say he was supposedly under cartel orders. So, but the demonstration in Mexico, there was a lot of demonstrations in most cities in the country, but the biggest one was in Mexico City. That one began on the Ángel of the Independence, El Ángel de la Independencia, where most of the congregations start. It was roughly about 7,000 people, but reports have said that not all of them was Gen Z. There was also this movement of people, the third age people that were, and also campesinos that were under the movement of the sombrero, the movement of the hat, that sparked the killing of Alcalde Manso. So the march was not only Gen Z, but I think the black bloc, or El Bloque Negro, the masked ones, were the ones that supposedly started the confrontations with the police. The government also said that they condemned these actions, and they will not expecting these amounts of violence. So it's all in the air now.
Yes, and Emilio, this is the seventh Mexican authority figure to have been killed by the cartel in recent years. What can you tell us about the security situation on the ground, particularly in regards to President Sheinbaum's new initiative for peace and justice in the Micho Hassan region?
Well, this called Michoacán, the Michoacán plan, if you want to say, there's a lot of involvement of sending a lot of elements of the Guardia Nacional or the militarized police to Michoacán and some sectors that where violence is upscaling. So this is not new. This is almost like textbook reaction from the government when something like this happens, like some of these big impact crimes happen. This is like textbook. This is what they do. They send police. They send a lot of members of even the army. But this is not. Well, people say that this is not good. That this does not work as well because they say that supposedly cartels have bought like bigger ranks on the police and on the Guardia Nacional. So we have seen examples where police do the blind eye to these type of crimes, or they even help in some cases. So we will see if the new Michoacán plan works. It's underway right now.
Yeah, and finally, do you see this protest ousting Ms. Sheinbaum's government, like similar movements have achieved across the world in places like Madagascar and Nepal even?
Well, this is not new. Historically, Mexico has have a lot of student movements, or well, so-called Gen Z movement, young people manifesting themselves. So right now, people are asking for Sheinbaum's resignation, which I really see unlikely. She will not resign. It's really difficult for a person on a public mandated, a public elected position to resign here in Mexico. But we will see a lot of pressure on Sheinbaum, as we have seen pressure on previous elected presidents. But the Gen Z movement worldwide it's amazing, everyone, and it's sparkling something in new generations that are asking for more, that are needing, like they are saying, more opportunities, more security, more countries more stable. And this is not only Mexico. We have seen it in Chile. We have seen it in Peru, in a lot of places. So there's something changing with the new generations of people that are more informed, that have more access to internet and fact-based news. So they are asking for more.
Yes, Emilio Reynoso, thank you very much for joining us here on the Deep Dive on NewsX World. It's a pleasure to have you on the programme. Well, that's all that we have time for on the Deep Dive today, but keep watching NewsX World for more Issues Explained and international news updates. Thank you. you.